Testing, 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 testing. Hey, welcome everyone. Oh. Okay. Hey, welcome everyone to the Alumni sharing session. It's so good to see so many curious faces today who seem eager to know more about our dear alumni. Well. My name is Premandas and I'll be your moderator for this session right here. Now, I bet you guys are wondering what this session is all about. Well, to be honest, the purpose of the session is already stated in the name, but if I were to specify, the alumni sharing session is basically a session where our fellow alumni will gather and to share their experiences, be it about their work life or their university life. This pretty much provides a chance for students like us to gain some insight regarding any possible future careers, as well as give us an opportunity to ask our fellow alumni regarding anything about whether we have any doubts so far. Now that we cleared that out, let's go ahead and meet our fellow panelists that we have for today, shall we? All right. So first up, we have Mr. Desmond Yeoh. Now, Desmond Yeoh is currently a data scientist based in Singapore. But not only that, back in his university days, he was also a teaching assistant in for various subjects, such as fundamentals of programming, computer systems and organization, as well as data structure. Wow, that's a lot, to be honest. I'm sure most of you guys might have taken this subject already. But not only that, Desmond Yeoh is also very active in the competition world as well. To name a few of the CIMB Bank 3D Conquest Data Science Track back in 2018, as well as the national level ACM ICPC Competitive Programming Competition, also back in 2018. Now there's a lot of other competitions that he had joined, but it's too long of a list for me to say out loud right here. So yeah. Moving on, we have Ying. So Wong Ying is currently a business analyst at a company called Pera Service Partner Sina Berhad. Now she's not as active in the competition world as Desmond, but she had a major role in planning all the events throughout her days in University of Malaya. To name a few of the events that she had been in charge of was one, the Pesta Tanglong University of Malaya back in 2017, the Lantern Festival, as well as the Lantern Carnival, which I actually had the privilege to experience this myself. And I must say, it is a very memorable event, and I cannot trade such an experience for anything else in the world. I'm sure you guys, some of you guys might not have had the chance to experience this due to the COVID-19, the pandemic, and the lockdown and whatnot. But I assure you, once you guys come back to the campus, I recommend you guys trying out these events for yourself, because this is where you're going to create all your memories back in university, and it's going to be something really unforgettable. Yeah. Now, with that said, let's move on to our final panelist for today, shall we? So for our final panelist, we have none other than Sina Meraji. Now, Sina Meraji is currently a founder in residence at a company called Entrepreneur First, as well as a product manager at Mind Valley. Now, Sina is also very active in the competition world as he attended multiple, and I mean multiple, hackathons back in his day. Now, what's very interesting about this is throughout his hackathon marathon, I would say, he started to come to some sort of realization where he said that they weren't really inclusive enough for most students. So what he did was very interesting. He basically built a app club to basically help the middle 60% of the students to build and code in a safe pace of their own. So which is really interesting because he had practically contributed to the students. Wow. Not only that, he also ran a product development bootcamp in back in 2018 and also gave a TED Talk about the future educations. And you guys, I have actually had a chance to watch this TED Talk video myself, and I must say it is such an eye-opener. Like legit, my eyes have never been open, or my mind has not been as blown as I've seen his video. So I recommend you guys giving his video actually a look as well, Sina. Yeah, so all you got to do is go to youtube.com, search up Sina Meraji TED Talk, and you're gonna love that video. Yeah. And for your information, both Desmond and Sina are actually former artificial intelligence students, whereas Ying is a former software engineering student. So if you happen to have any questions whatsoever in regards to their courses, their subjects, or their work life, please hold on to those questions for now, because we're going to have a Q&A session later on. And if you happen to ask the questions right now, there is a huge chance that we're going to miss out on your questions. So hold on to it, yeah? Now, with that said, hello, dear panelists.
Sup?
Hello.
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 Great
Have
to
you
be
been?
here.
Have you all had lunch?
Yep.
That's very good to hear. It's very good to hear. Now I'm very excited for you guys to be here. First of all, I can't really express my gratitude enough for you all being here. I'm very thankful for that as well. Now, basically, what's going to happen here is very simple. I actually have a list of questions for you guys to answer, and basically, I just want you guys to give your answers based on your opinion and probably provide some exposure to the participants who are watching right now. Yeah. All right. So first up, I actually want to talk about your jobs and everything. Now, I know I mentioned your jobs, Wong Ying being a business analyst, Desmond a data scientist, and Sina as a founder in residence. But if I'm being perfectly honest with myself, I'm pretty sure that most of us are still very in the dark about what it is that you guys actually do for a living. So if it's not too much trouble, could you guys please explain in detail what you guys actually do and also why you guys choose to work in that specific field? Let's have Wong Ziying have a go first. I'm actually very interested because you were a former software engineering student, but you are actually working as a business analyst right now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your answers. So Ziying, yeah.
Hi, yeah, okay, let me start. So the
Yeah.
job as a business analyst actually like a bridge between the users, the system users, and the development team. So we don't do coding, and because I'm not really confident about my coding skills, when I decide to when I searching for job for my internship, so I decided to try out a different career option. So what a business analyst do is actually to gather the users' requirements, so we have to get like have session with users and then understand what they need for the system, and then provide them a solution. And also we need to manage the scope of the system because sometimes the scope is too big, so we need to break it down into phases, and then so that the development phase, the time will be not too long. And so we also in charge of designing the system, so maybe like how the system works, and then how it looks like, and then how the data going to be structured in the system. And we also need to do some documentations like because we need the customer to confirm, okay, we are going to build it like this. So we need them to sign. So we have to prepare a document called functional specification, requirement specification. So after they sign, then the development team will start to do the development. Then we also need to do some testing after they develop the system. And lastly, we need to go to the customer and then provide training to them. So basically, we are just we are the connector between the users and the development team. Yeah, I think that's all.
Well, that is very interesting. I was actually very shocked at first to hear one of the alumni being like a business analyst because it's computer science, and you expect something like a programming, like a data scientist like Desmond here. But when I read your book, I was like, wow, what does that mean? So yeah, that was really interesting answer, and I'm very sure that you can be like a role model for some of the other alumni at this. But yeah, for some of you out there, don't give up on hope. There's always a chance for you guys. There's always a glimmer of hope, like Wong Zing right here. Now let's move on. Let's actually have Desmond have a go at this question, shall we? Desmond, can you have a go?
Hi, yeah. So I'm currently a data scientist in Shopee, Singapore, actually. So my team is actually called data science, and in the bracket, it's machine learning platform and infra. So what we do is like a supportive role for all the data scientists in my company. So we want to understand what are their pain points and where in their work is causing them some productivity issues, or like what is slowing them down. And then we build data science tools to help them work better. So my day-to-day would be like we would get in touch with a lot of different data scientists from different teams. So we have let's say we have data scientists from the computer vision team. We have data scientists from the natural language processing teams. And then they all have different problems, and we want to build a generalized solution for them, so as to centralize all the resources together as well to save cost. So yeah, so we are mainly building data science systems that are highly scalable, highly distributed, as well as highly available. Yeah.
Oh, that is really interesting to hear. Like for real, I did not know that's what a data scientist would do, especially their day-to-day life. Exactly, can I ask why is it that you choose to go into delve into data science? Like choose this career in specific.
Wow, I see. I think it because back in university, I was a AI researcher in Maniland. Dr. Chan actually recommended me to there, and then from there I learned quite some machine learning and AI algorithms, which kind of paves the way for me to move into data science. You know, and then like there are quite a lot of opportunities here in Singapore as well for data science roles.
Oh, that is a very profound answer right there. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm pretty sure some of you guys who are watching right now are inspired by Desmond Yeoh. But let's hold on the inspiration. We're gonna have actually one more. Sina, are you here with us? All right, so Sina, let's have you have a go at this. Yeah.
What am I doing right now? I'm a founder in residence in a company in Singapore. This company is called Entrepreneur First. What it means to be a founder in residence is that it's a company that gives a stipend to a number of people who are very entrepreneurial and are very driven to start a company. And the company helps people like myself to find a co-founder and then start a company. And if you build an exciting company, in the end, they may or may not invest in us. Prior to this, I was a product manager. So I'm not currently a product manager at Mindvalley. Perman mentioned that I am, which is okay. But I've taken a career path of also a non-specialized career path, I would say. In about 2018, which was my second or third year at uni, I realized that I liked computer science. I liked to be technical, but I didn't want to code full-time. And I went on a mission to figure out what else is there in tech. I still wanted to be in tech, but I really liked a little bit of marketing, a little bit of design, a little bit of business, and all of these. I'm very talkative. And accidentally, I came across product management as a career. And I landed an internship there at a company called Superhands, which is a startup in Malaysia, near actually, in Bangsar South. Then I worked there for a year. Then I landed a job at Mindvalley, also a company in KL, the office is in Bangsar, and where I was also a product manager there. So the sort of work I did as a product manager, and after that, I'm trying to start my own company. But the sort of work I was doing as a product manager was essentially being assigned to one engineering team, say 5 engineers, and one product designer, like UI and UX designer. And I was the bridge between this engineering team and, say, the founders and the marketing and a few other departments, where I would need to consume, okay, what is the business planning to build in the next quarter, in the next 3 months, and scope it. Which part of it should this team build? Because if you want to build all of it, you can't deliver all of it. So if you can only build 20% of what the CEO wants, which 20% are you going to build? And why that 20% and not another 20%? And yeah, I guess now that I'm a founder in residence, what am I doing? I've basically met a co-founder. We've come up with a new product, new market idea. We're building it every day. We're trying to get some users, make some money, hopefully raise some funding if we need, and then keep going from there.
Hello. Oh yeah. Oh, hello. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that was actually a very great answer. I wasn't really expecting that answer from you, Sina, because like you when I saw that YouTube video, I was really like rooting for you, like for real, like you're gonna go into AI and stuff. And but hearing you say all that, is really something else, you know. And the fact that you're gonna start your own company, you're being really independent with yourself, that is something amazing as well. I'm rooting for you right here, man. You got support right here, dude. Now, with that said, despite all like from what I see, you guys are really happy with your jobs right now, and I'm very happy for y'all as well. But in reality, all jobs in this world, you guys are gonna experience some harshness from either your boss or any external factors. So I guess my question right here is basically, right, what are some of the most challenging issues that you face in your career so far? So I'm hoping you guys could like share your story with us, you know, Let's have Desmond have a go at this first. Desmond?
Oh, okay. Let me think. What are the challenges? Okay, I think because like Priman has said, my current role is like the data scientist role, but when I went in, it's actually more of a DevOps role for data scientists. Is actually I don't train any models at the moment now. It's more of a systems and perhaps a little bit backend role. So it's kind of different from what I expected. But then I think I just go for it because I think I can learn quite useful things. And given the scale of my company at the moment, we have a huge amount of data, and if I just go on and pick up these skills, then it'll be very useful in the future as well. Yeah, I think that's like my quite a big challenge for me right now because yeah, what I'm doing now is perhaps not what a typical data scientist would do, and my job role kind of sounds kind of confusing, but yeah, that's the thing that I'm working on right now, to be more on the productionizing part of machine learning models. So it's kind of like machine learning ops, or they call it ML ops stuff. So we not just want to build a model, but we want to make sure that it's reliable, it's robust, and it's always available as well. So that's the part of the thing that I never thought of before I joined this company.
Oh, that's really an amazing answer right there. And the fact that you're working your way up here is really an amazing thing as well. Yeah, I support right here. Let's have next one. Let's have Sina have a go. What are the most frustrating parts of your career so far? Now, this doesn't technically apply to your job right now. It can apply to any jobs that you have.
Sure. I guess so. As you mentioned, through my university experience and building App Club and focusing both on learning computer science and at the same time finding different ways to teach it to myself and to other people in our community, I developed this interest in education. And I felt like, okay, education as a whole seemed to be very under-optimized. It's working for 20% of people and maybe not so much for the other 80%. And at the same time, I was interested to find where can I apply AI to this education as a problem space. And the moment you want to do that, the moment you have some sort of curiosity like that, the hardest part is finding a company that pays you to do that. If you find a company that pays you to do that, good for you. Great, because you're going to do something you're curious about every day and get paid for it. If you can't do that, your options are quite limited, meaning either you kind of decide to, depending on your financial situation, you can say, I'm going to start a company and be the company that will do both of these. Or if you can't afford that, which I couldn't, you'd say, okay, I'm going to do something else for some time, and hopefully at some point in my life, I'll be able to do this. So that itself is challenging because you're 22, 20, whatever, graduating, and you realize, damn, I need to maybe postpone my curiosities for a while, right? Somebody's curiosity might be gaming or I don't know, anything else.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah.
Right, it's a big thing. So I got lucky because product management as a career was very interesting to me. It was the career itself, the job itself was making me very curious. So I was like, I just want to know, how does this work? So my first job at Superhands, that was amazing because I was so curious about the idea of me being a fresh grad, but being in a startup where I get to work with the CEO, with the engineer, with the designer. It just felt very good. At some point, I had some issues in my personal life, family life. I had to take a break from that job. In my next job, which was at Mindvalley, when I joined the company, that was a company that, very publicly has this vision of wanting to reinvent education and all of that. And it was great to join the company and get closer to a lot of people who also share the same curiosity as me. The challenge was that it has very specific leadership and culture. There's a lot of great things about it. There are some challenges I get when you work with CEOs who are extremely visionary and want things to be in a particular way. Not necessarily a bad thing, but I think I'm a visionary too. So it was really hard for me to have a visionary boss who's telling me, who says no to my vision all day and is like, I want you to do this vision. Although I respect him a lot and I learned a lot from him. So that was a big challenge. And I think money itself has always been a challenge for me over the past few years. I think a lot of students could relate to this. There were some stats that I read a while ago that 1 in 3 students eat 1 meal a day, which says something about the finances of a majority of the students. I think I've gone through a lot of that as well over the past few years. So the idea of being able to get a job that gives me a visa as an international student, that pays me enough to be able to sustain myself, maybe support my family a little bit, and figure out my curiosities, that has been an ongoing journey. And I'm very grateful that at this point in time, I get to be in a better position to get paid to start a company on the things that I care about.
Yeah, so that was a very interesting answer as well. I'm very actually very agree with you on the point where financial issues will cause a lot of problems in this world. Yeah, because to be honest, let's be real. For anyone who believe that money won't bring you happiness, it's only applicable to some point in time. Yeah, so you can't really believe in that too much. Yeah, especially in Sina's case right here, he had the most trouble with money, but he actually pulled through with it as well. A very good job with you, Sina. I'm very proud of you as well for your journey as well. I'm also, I'm just gonna support all of you guys. Legit, I'm just gonna support all you guys.
MC Tabai.
With that said, let's move on to Ying. Wong Ying, how about you? What's the most frustrating part of your career that you had so far?
I think the biggest challenge in my career is that I have no knowledge in the domain knowledge in this company that in this company. For example, my company is doing a system that let the bank to process their loans. So I have no knowledge in this field at all. So I have a very hard time to get some more knowledge. Even the term, like a very simple term in their industry, we don't know at all. So we have to understand what they do and then how usually how they handle different problems so that we can propose a better solution to them. Yeah, I think the domain knowledge is the most challenging part. And for the role as a business analyst, when you go to different company, then you will have different domain knowledge. So you have to learn again. Yeah, so I think this is quite hard for me.
Taking over as the MC. The next question is, I wish I had the next question. Maybe I can. I think he's just sent it to me.
Hello. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. My internet is really bad right now where I am.
It's okay.
That was embarrassing.
Okay.
But yeah, I actually had thankfully I was listening over to you guys on YouTube as well, so I actually had a chance to listen to Ziying's answer. So yeah, that is really a great answer. I can't really say much after this internet problem, to be honest. But yeah, that was really a great answer, and you actually pulled through right after not going through with something you had almost zero knowledge on, and that is something like very inspirational to almost everyone as well. And also, all of you guys are also very practically inspirational to all of us right now. Like for real, I am so glad to have you guys as the alumni for this session right now. For real, legit.
We're so happy to have you as the MC. I think this is a very cool experience.
Thank you, man. So let's move on to the next question that we have. All right. So all this talk about work has pretty much got me thinking, to be honest. Almost every job in this world has some sort of requirement to get the job. So like you being a business analyst, I'm like business analyst, founder residence, and like a data scientist. I'm sure there's some sort of skill set that you guys need to have in order to get the job. And for you guys, you guys obviously have it. You guys definitely worked up your way up the ladder, which is really awesome as well. But for our students, right? I'm sure some of us are still having troubles like gaining those experiences, gaining those skill sets and whatnot, especially when we have almost no knowledge on how to get it. So I guess my next question to you guys is, could you guys tell us like what sort of competitions or events that you guys had joined back in the day or currently joining that have helped you gain those experiences and those skills, and how those events and competitions help you guys as well. So let's have Ying have a go at this first.
Okay, for the actually I didn't join like a lot of events in the university, but I do join like Pesta Danong, the University of Malaya, and I gained a great experience there. And what I learned from that is like maybe the communication skills and then problem solving, and you have to like have some estimation in your time, to manage your time well. So this is very important for business analysts because first for communication, you have to talk to the users and then understand what are they talking about actually, and then there are some skills that you need to when you're communicating to the users, because sometimes they give you in a way that is quite confusing. So you have to try to change, like maybe you structure your questions to get what answer that you want. Yeah, and then for problem solving is very important because sometimes even the users they don't know how are we going to how can we solve their problems. So we have to try to think of solution for them, and then yeah, I think I forgot what the last I mentioned it now, but I think that it's very useful. And I also joined student exchange program in Australia previously, so I think that's a very good experience to me. And like try to I have met a lot of people there, and then they are come from different countries, so we have different cultures, and I think this is quite important as well. As a business analyst, yeah, the customer are not restricted in our country only. It might be someone in other countries. For example, my project is we are building a system for the bank in Philippines. So you have to understand like how they do their works, and then sometimes because if you don't understand, you don't try to understand their culture, it's quite hard to you to like balance get a good how to say in the I think it is quite important in your discussion with them, like um understand their difficulties, because for example in Philippines they don't have a unique ID, they don't have a special ID, so you have to think how are you going to search for specific people in the database, something like that. So you don't always think that, oh, in my country I can do this, so it's for sure for your country you can do that. Yeah, I think this is quite important, so I think that's all for me.
That is a very great answer, and I agree with all your points, especially with the communicating and like outsourcing to other people out there. And I believe like we all need communication because we're in the jobs. We're gonna be communicating with the job, with the boss, with the other employees. So communicating is definitely an important skill set to have, as well as outsourcing to the what to. Oh my god, I'm losing my words. I'm sorry. As well as outsourcing to the foreign people. So that is actually very cool as well, where you like learn their all the cultures and stuff and whatnot. So that is really great to hear as well, and yeah, it's really awesome. So let's have Sina go next. Sina, what about you? What are your experiences?
Can you show the question again, please?
Yeah, so the question was basically like, could you tell us what sort of competitions or events that you had joined that have helped you hone or gain your skill sets right now?
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I got really lucky because early on in my first year, I had a senior named Austin who came back from his exchange program, and he was forming a hackathon team. At that point, I didn't know what a hackathon was. I had never really heard of it, but I was very active on the Facebook group of FSKTM. So I used to share stuff, share blog posts, write blog posts. So Austin assumed that I was very proactive and excited, and he was like, join my hackathon team. And we showed up to a hackathon. We didn't really win, but it was pretty fun. We built some random product. It was a 3D printing hackathon. And what I learned there was that And before going to the hackathon, my biggest fear was that I wasn't good enough. I kept telling him, I'm like, hey, I don't even know how to code yet. I'm just taking programming 1. He was like, it's okay. It's just going to be fun. We're going there to get a free t-shirt, get some free food, build some random stuff. Don't worry. And we went there, and it showed me that I wasn't that bad, and everybody else wasn't that great, as I thought. And everybody was there for the fun of it, just trying to do things without a definition of right and wrong, which was very different from how the faculty worked at the time, because it was all about CGPA. And that if you got a 4 CGPA, you were here, and if you got a 3.6 CGPA, you were here. And now I have this place where there's no grading, really. It's like hackathon, nobody really grades you. It's like everybody builds something, yeah, period. So I liked that, and I kept doing that. I went to more hackathons, and at some point, I actually started learning stuff by just following that curiosity. Okay, this is a 3D printing hackathon. This is a drone hackathon. This is a whatever else hackathon. And I don't know anything about any of these, but you just show up. And in each of them, usually they have these workshops when somebody comes and teach for a few hours some technology. And at some point, I felt like, yeah, that was actually even better than the way we were learning computer science on faculty. So I felt like I wanted that collaborative learning experience for myself to learn better. I'm not very good at learning stuff alone. So started a student club, brought some of those same people from startups and say, hey, can you teach us these things? Me and 5 of my friends teach us for free, and then hire anyone who like. And some companies came and some students, and this kind of grew bigger. And for me, I was proactive with my learning and try to find, what do I want to learn? Who do I want to learn it from? And how can I do this without paying any money? Because I'm already paying tuition fees, right? My suggestion to students is that 2 things. Find some people that you feel very safe and comfortable to learn with or copy if they know more than you. Could be a senior, could be a classmate, somebody that won't judge you, but at the same time, you can kind of go with them and learn a bunch of stuff. And number 2 is try to do a bunch of different things as soon as you can in your first and second year before you get close to graduation, so that if it's important for you to learn what you dislike, right? Do like 20 different things without committing too much time or any money, and then try to get a sense of which one makes you curious, and then get a bunch of people and learn that one thing with them, because you won't need to get money or grades to do that. You will just be intrinsically motivated to do it. And the more you do that, at some point you will realize 2 years, 3 years later, damn, I've been doing one thing for the past 2 years, and I'm really good at it, and I can make money from it. That's a very good feeling, and yeah. And it's not neat if you're in final year, like, don't stress that, oh damn, what have I done with my past 3 or 4 years? No, you can virtually start anytime, and there's no deadline really for that. I think that formula is something I've seen people who, my brother studied computer science, hated it, hardly finished it. At the age of 29, he got very curious about making furniture and just kept doing that for fun, and then started making money from it. So yeah.
Well, that is a very interesting answer. And I actually agree with your points as well. How the fact that you mentioned that it's better to work in a group and have like a group of people who have the same mindset as you. So yeah, I actually do believe that actually helps out a lot. And also, I actually admire your curiosity to everything, where you like try everything out first, like within your first 2 years. So that's actually an important thing to have. Yeah, because you can only go so far without curiosity, but with curiosity, you can discover new things. Yeah, and you've clearly proven it right there. So yeah, that is a very interesting answer as well. So next up, let's have Desmond have a go at this question as well. Desmond.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, I think I joined quite some national level programming competitions, and I think those competitions are really good in the sense that it helps me understand where am I bad at, what I'm lacking in my programming skills, because there are some questions that I can solve easily. There are some questions that I couldn't solve easily. But then after the competition, we would have a discussion with the friends, and then we kind of learn from each other. Besides that, it actually looks quite good on your resume as well, because it's a national level competition. Then it's a very good statement to tell the employer that, hey, you're in the top end of your country. So I think it looks very good. And I mean, there are a lot of programming competitions. You don't necessarily have to go to ACM, ICPC. There are a lot of universities that are organizing national level competitions. Like I think last year in UM, there's a National Programming League, which is a new programming competition at a national level that you can join. So there are a lot of competitions, and like Sina said, try 20 different things, and then so I thought of this problem. I read it somewhere. So it's like if you have 100 toilets that you there's 100 toilets, and then all of them are like different cleanliness levels. So some are very dirty and then some are very clean. So what is the most optimized solution to choose a good or the best toilet that you should go? So I think I read about like you should explore the first first quarter or first third of the toilets. So if there are 100 toilets, then you should go to the first 33 toilets, and then have a baseline of which toilet have the baseline of the cleanest toilet in the first 33 toilets. And then after the first 33 toilets, when you go into the 34th, 35th, and so on, you just find you just can go into any toilet that is cleaner than the toilet that is cleanest in the first 33 toilets. So because for university students, I think everyone is still very young. So at the early stage, you should focus more on exploration instead of exploitation. And yeah, I think trying like 20 different things, try as much things as possible at the very beginning. And then when joining university events, I would say go for bigger events, something like Pesta Tanlo, for example, because the thing with bigger events is that there's usually good guidance, and then there's usually good exposure because something has been running for a lot of years. Then there are good seniors to guide you along. Then you can really learn a lot of things. So I would say focus on rapid growth at the first few stages. And yeah, when joining a company as well, try to join the company that is not too small, unless the founder is really good and guide you along the way. But usually very, very small companies, they might not have enough resources to guide you and to grow you. But that's unless the CTO or founder is really good or experienced, then yeah. So and then like talk to seniors a lot, even juniors or just people that are better than you. Like before university, I actually found Sina on Facebook and then talked to him, and then like and then like when he has some programs or events, then he would just call me along, and then I can join and then learn a lot more. And then there's also Sinja and Kamwo who Sinja actually recommended me to work in NUS, and then Kamwo actually recommended me to work with Dr. Chan, who got my internship. So looking back, wow, really like just talking to seniors and building connections with them, talking to people that are better than you, could really help you a lot. Yeah.
Desmond, can you actually share like the way you reached out to me before you joined I think that might be helpful for students.
Oh wow, okay. So I before I joined I think I just looked for Facebook groups, and then I know that the faculty in computer science is FSKTM, and I look for FSKTM. So people would by just searching FSKTM or Faculty of Computer Science, University Malaya, then you have a list of people who are currently studying or who just joined. Then you could just messenger them like, hey, I'll be joining FSKTM soon. Can I ask you a few questions about the university or course? Then I mean, people are usually friendly to talk about their experience.
Well, yeah, that is an amazing answer as well. And I very much agree with you in regards to the exploration rather than exploitation. Yes, for us, especially for the new students, since you have so much time left, it's better for us to explore as much as possible before we actually go into mastering one skill set. And also regarding the toilet seats, I very much agree with you on that concept. I'm pretty sure I'm still on the dirty side of the toilet seat. I've yet to enter the clean side yet. But I think I'll do that soon. But yeah, and also the fact that you actually reached out to Sina before you came to university is a very, for me at least, it's very abnormal, I guess, because for me, I'm kind of intimidated by anyone who's like above me, so I'm very scared to talk with anyone. even with my seniors, man, like I would have to wait for them to come to me and say, "Hey, Brent, hi man, how you doing?" And that's when it all starts. But yeah, for you to be the one initiating the conversation, that is very, very brave of you as well, to be honest. Yeah, and also this pretty much provides all students out there who are by the seniors. Don't be intimidated. Just ask them. And also, with that said, actually, from what you guys have spoken on about, I feel like you guys have attended multiple, and I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying multiple, but multiple events throughout your university days, and that is cool and all. But at the end of the day, you guys are still practically students. Like, you guys have to balance out your lifestyle with your competition lifestyle, with your study lifestyle. So I'm sure that must be rough on you guys. And to be honest, I guess my next question for you guys is: could you guys could you guys provide us like any tips that you guys had used back in the days to help like balance out your work lifestyle or your extracurricular lifestyle with your study lifestyle? Yeah, I'm very excited to hear this as well. So let's have Sina. How about let's have you have a go first.
Sure. Half of my advice, you should not try it at home. Half of it is very good. The other half is, yeah, just don't do it. But I will share what I did. Well, two things. I think when it comes to making sure that on the one hand, I could do these stuff that I like, extracurricular activities. On the other hand, still make sure that CGPA is okay. And at some point in my studies, I had to work to make money to pay for tuition fees as well. The way I balanced it, I think the healthy way, which I mostly took, was saying that, okay, I'm gonna be part of a good assignment team so that the 3 or 4 of us can, instead of like each of us spending a lot of time, the 3 of us spend one weekend and we take like 3 assignments together and we really do everything we can about it so that the speed of execution is much faster because the 3 of us are thinking and learning together. And we share what we learned, and one person does this part, one person that does. And I was lucky to make good friendships early on to be able to do that. And one thing about that I noticed is that the amount of effort that A students used to put in was equal to the amount of effort that C students were putting in. B students were the ones who were working the hardest, but they were doing it alone, and they were never getting A's. A students working together, not extremely high effort, a lot of effort, but not like burnt out, but doing pretty well. C students, same amount of effort, but maybe in the wrong direction or just studying the wrong things. The part of the other part that I used to do, which is somewhat unhealthy, which started in my 3rd year onwards. Actually, I don't think it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy if your scholarship depends on your grades. I didn't have a scholarship, so I was okay with that. Any class that I went to or any assignment that I felt like wouldn't add value to my growth, I wouldn't do it. And at some point in my studies, unfortunately, I felt like if I was taking 6 or 7 classes one semester, only 2 of them would add value to me, I felt. The other 5, either I could summarize them in 1 week. At least for me, I felt like it was not particularly high value. So then I would look at the assignment. If I could look from top to bottom and completely get a sense of what to do here, I wouldn't do it. Because why am I trying to prove myself to the lecturer? I would do it if I needed it for, CGPA, for some financial reason, for a job, very selectively. But when I could afford to not do an assignment and have more time to actually learn something that mattered, I would do that. So that realization that there's a difference between CGPA and learning and skills, I think, is important. And learning to balance it with your time is a good skill to acquire, I think.
That was a very great answer as well. I especially agree with your very first point where you say that we have to work in groups with people who are especially like who works hard as well in this kind of thing. I feel like working with those kind of people will definitely help you guys out in the long run, right?
Yeah, I just want to clarify there just to make sure I don't get misunderstood. You didn't say this, and I was also not suggesting to find 2 people who are like really good and let them do the work. not that. But find 2 people who will work as hard as you, and so the 3 of you can really get that thing done very fast.
Yeah, that's right. Don't freeload. It's kind of pity the other people, to be honest. Yeah. But for your second point though, I was actually surprised where you were like, you put your prioritize on the subjects that do matter to you first, and you pretty much work on the other subjects later on, right? That's a very interesting way to go at it as well. So yeah, for those who are listening, you guys can give it a go and give it the unhealthy style a go if you want, and see if it works out for you. Who knows? Maybe it works out. Who knows? Okay, so let's have Wong Ying have a go at her question. How did you manage your CGPA and work lifestyle during your university days?
Okay, to be honest, my results for the first year and second year are quite bad. So actually, I spent my third year when I was doing the student exchange program. I worked very hard then, and then most of them are doing their honeymoon semester, going for internship or playing around when they go to exchange. But I spend quite a lot of time to do my assignment there seriously, and then brush up my skills so that after I come back, I can pick up from what I left back previously, and then I kind of push my CGPA in my last year. Yeah, so I think just try to don't get lost after, even though your first year and second year's CGPAs are not so good, you still can do it later. Yeah, you still can improve it very you can do yeah, just don't be afraid. Just try to work during the I think.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting answer as well. And so basically, Wong Ying saying that we should work on our CGPAs, but don't fret too much on it. But work on it when you guys have the time. Don't feel stressed too much about it. Right? Is that right, Wong Ying? Well, where did you go for your exchange program?
I went to Austria. The Europe one, not Australia. The one
not Australia.
camping.
I was about to say Australia. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Oh, that is really interesting as well. And you mentioned the honeymoon semesters, and yes, I do agree with you. For most of us students, me myself is guilty as well. I gotta say, I do take my semesters like the honeymoon semester most of the time. But yeah, I will try and incorporate your advice into my lifestyle very soon after this. Hopefully, I'll up my grades. Who knows? And hopefully for those participants who are watching it and listening as well, I hope you guys do try to incorporate something like this into your lifestyle as well. With that said, we actually have Desmond. How about you? How did you manage your lifestyle being a student and somewhat of a competitive, proactive man as well?
Okay, so I think I quite follow the 80-20 rule a lot. So I don't go to all the classes. Sometimes sometimes when the lecturer is like having a more chill time, so it's not like we have 14 weeks, like and then some of the weeks is actually it's not that tight or packed, or like the lecturer has already finished his or her syllabus, then the time is more relaxed. Then I'm not saying you don't have to go to the classes, but sometimes I do skip classes because of that. Because I think you have to keep an eye on your time, on where you spend your time on. Sometimes even the things that you feel are important are not actually adding much value to you, to your life. Then you have to prioritize, like first put the most important things first, and then from the most important things you see which one is the lowest effort, and then go for that first. It's like going for the low-hanging fruits first, and then work on from there. Yeah, so I don't think anyone could actually spend their time doing all the things, or attend all the classes, and then attend all the competitions, and then attend all the events as well. Sometimes you have to make decisions on missing out on some of them. Even like if it's a very important event, and then there are some, of course, there are some sessions that are not that important along the whole event, or like even along the whole classes. There must be some classes that are not that important as the other classes. Then yeah, you should. But of course, let your lecturer know why are you not going, or let your event supervisor know why are you not going to this, because they can understand as well, because sometimes the meeting is just not that important as compared to the other things that you have on. Yeah. things are negotiable. Yeah, I think understanding that is very helpful.
Yeah, so I very much agree with that as well. Like how you have to prioritize everything first, whatever is of what most important first. You got to prioritize, despite whatever you have, anything on the side. It's very important for you to prioritize, especially you yourself. For the participants out there who are watching, I hope you guys do take into account whatever it is that you're doing and put your priorities and prioritize according to your importance as well. So we actually have time for one more question. So actually, this is a question that I personally have been wanting to ask. For people who are experiencing financial trouble, especially in university, I see a lot of people who work part time during their studies and all whatnot. And for some of them, they actually quite have a much harder time as well, handling their studies and everything and whatnot. So for the part timers and everything, I was wondering whether I can get your opinion on this, and also probably what your advice would be to all these part timers who are currently working. Let's have Sina have a go at this first.
So first I will quickly tell you what sort of things I did to make money, and then I can tell you like how to pick, because there are different ways of making money. In no order, I think there are 3 things I did for money as a student, or 4 actually. One was I did some freelance web design using WordPress and CMS so that I could build website without coding, so I could manage time. I could do a lot in a short period of time. The hard thing about that is either you need to always find that first client that will bring a few more, and you don't need like to have 100 clients, but if each semester you can get 1 or 2, it could be enough. Because if you charge, for example, depending on whatever you do, it could be 2K, 3K, get lucky, like 4K. Some people are good at sales, they could do much more, but then you need to be aware of the efforts. The other thing I used to do, at some point I worked at My Burger Lab, which is a burger chain store. They have a branch, I think, in Sea Park, thanks, and another one in Tel Aviv, those are nearby. I used to work there at some period. When I was doing my internship was paying me, I think, 600 ringgit, just low. And then I would work on my burger lab over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And I think overall that would pay me like 450 or 400 ringgit per month. But I did that because I was also running a hackathon, so I had no headspace for doing any other sort of job that required a lot of my brain capacity. I just needed really cash. So another thing that I got lucky with was doing a freelance event organizing with as an American company, got referred to by a friend. That one was really lucky. I don't think it's very easy to reproduce that sort of thing. But taking a step back, I guess what you want to see is how much money do you need, how much headspace do you have, how much time you have as well. And based on these 3, if you need a lot of money, you have some time and headspace, maybe you're introverted, not going to a lot of events, not a lot of social commitment, try to go after the freelance path. Otherwise, if you need money but no time and no headspace, it might be good to look at these part-time part-time events once in a while, or stuff that you can come up with on Facebook groups. Yeah.
That is very interesting as well. I'm kind of shocked as well to hear that you work so many part-time jobs in your days as well.
Yeah. One thing I want to add quickly without taking too much time from Desmond and Ying is that you want to really look at like what is your expectation of the thing. If you're doing it purely for money, there's one set of things. If you want to do, ideally would want to do something that gives you money, but also hopefully some skills and exposure as well. I think at that point as a student, I was doing so much of the exposure things, which were all unpaid. So that when I wanted to do something for money, I almost didn't have I didn't care if it taught me particular new skills, as long as I could just take care of the cash parts. I think Desmond and Ying possibly might have some insights on part-time jobs that pay you and also like teach you stuff.
Yeah, you're right on the track about being like the job where it gives you exposure and whatnot, especially when you do like the freelance design thing as well. It's also very important for us students as well to get exposure to early on work as well, to like get like basically have a gist of what we're gonna be doing in the work life sooner or later. So yeah, I very much agree with your point, Sina. Besides that, how about Wong Ying? Do you have any advice or opinions regarding this sort of matter as well?
Actually, I don't have any experience in doing part-time job, but some of my friends does do it, and I think that is quite good. And if you want to, for example, if you want to be a maybe UI designer after you graduated, it's very good chance for you to start to build out your portfolio at the time. Then you are doing some freelance job, and then you can have more experience, and then you start to understand what the customer needs and what's the requirements in the market, and maybe you can start to learn some skills before you graduate. So where you have a better chance before you graduate. I think it's quite good. But I personally don't have that chance yet because at the moment I don't have any direction. I'm quite lost and I just playing around. Yeah. So depends. If you think that you should enjoy your uni life, then just go for it. That's what I mean. But I think that it's quite good to have some experience. I'm quite regret that I didn't start early. I started to do that earlier, and yeah. So try to think before. Just depends on you lah. That's all for me.
Yeah, that's a very great answer as well. Like I can totally see the importance behind that. It like you mentioned, like it's better to be exploring and like finding new experiences while you're in university. For me, like personally, like it's better to be a jack of all trades rather than being a master of just one skill. So yeah, that is a very good answer from Wong Ying right there, and I very much agree with you on that point as well. Regarding that, let's have Desmond. Do you have a opinion on this matter as well? Let's have you have a go.
Yeah. So I actually have, I think, a few part-time jobs as well. Perhaps I can share a bit of my opinions on this. So I think students can try to ask this question, like, can I do one thing and contribute to multiple goals? Or in other words, can I kill ant birds with just one stone? So like for my FYP, it's not just a FYP. It's actually also a part-time job that I have with my previous intern company. So after internship, I go on to my final year project, right? But then before I start my final year project, we actually had a discussion with my intern company to see if I can get paid while doing my FYP. So they kind of, I think they kind of open to it. And so during my FYP, while I was doing it, I was actually getting paid. So when I do my FYP, the scope kind of grows bigger because I don't just need to focus on my FYP, but I also need to kind of extend this FYP to serve the business needs of this current company. And I think the drawback with killing ant birds with one stone is that it kind of limits the thing that you can do. So let's say you want to do this and contribute to this and this and this. Like I want to do my FYP and then I contribute to my FYP, and I want to earn money, and I also want to contribute to the company. So it kind of limits the scope of the things that you can do. But I think for students who is like struggling financially, if you want to find part-time jobs, like Sina said, you have two paths, right? One is like you just want to get money, then you don't care about the skills that you learn, that you're really urgently looking for money, then you just go for the highest paying job. Let's say if like Food Panda or like Grab or something, just go for it, even though the skills that you learn may not apply in your future jobs. But if you are doing more financially okay, you just need like extra pocket money, then perhaps you should look at things that can pay you and also grow your skills. Yeah. So like when you do that thing, it may not pay the highest, but you can get to learn skills that may be helpful when you are looking for a job next. And also like when you are doing your FYP, don't just look at it as an FYP, even if you are not earning money from it. Look at it as a project that, a portfolio that you would use to apply for your first job. Yeah, I think because you are like going to work on it for 1 year. So yeah, you can think of it that way. Can I make it not only the FYP, but also my portfolio for me to look for jobs? Yeah.
That is a very great answer from you, Desmond. I really was intrigued by it. To be honest, I was like pulled in. But yeah, I really agreed with most of your points. How we shouldn't really treat FYP as just an FYP, but more like the portfolio to your companies as well. And to be honest, I'm also quite surprised that you were actually making money during your FYP. That's a really cool tactic as well, I think. But yeah, and as Desmond did say early on, that it really depends on your situation. If you're really looking for money, like straight cash, you don't really have to look onto the what's it called, the skill aspect of the job, but more just to money. But if you are looking to just grow your skill also while also earning money on the side, just go for something more small scale. Or you can do like freelance designing, like Sina right here, and yeah, something like that. That pretty much, I think that would be the final question that we have for the sharing session, as we have already run out of time for the sharing session. However, we actually do have the Q&A session where the participants, I'm sure you are eager to ask your questions. So for the participants, if you have any questions right now, all you need to do is write them down in your comments. I will read them out and I'll let our fellow alumni answer your questions. Now, how this work is going to be the same thing. I'll be reading your questions, and your question will be pinned onto this video, somewhere right here, and I'll be asking the alumni to answer your questions. So yeah, now we actually have a few questions lined up already. So let's go for the first question, shall we? So for the first question, so he says, I often see lots of requirements for an IT job. Do we really need to possess all the skills in order to get a job? So I think I'm going to have Sina have a go at this question first.
I would say no, for a few reasons. One is because the companies are going to hire, they're going to open this job application, this job opening. They're going to get a number of people apply, and they will pick the one that seems to be the best among them. If none of those people have all of the requirements, then the company will pick the one that has the most. Sometimes nobody applies for certain jobs. So if you apply, or you're one of the few, and there's a chance you're better than the others, and you can get hired. In Southeast Asia, there are more tech jobs than humans who can take them. So you should never disqualify yourself, and you should always know that there are some people in the HR department of those companies who get paid to disqualify you or qualify you. So you don't get paid to disqualify yourself. Don't do it. Just apply.
That's a very interesting answer. I would not have thought about that at all. So yeah, I hope some of the participants gain some insight. But I also want to ask the opinions from Desmond and Ying as well. So first, let's have Desmond. What do you think?
Actually, for my current role, right, they actually want an experienced person to, on the career page itself, it says the level must be experienced, but I'm coming in as a fresh graduate. And I actually just applied for it because, like Sina said, it's just a wish list of things that they want. And if they are really actively hiring, they can make some, they can make some adjustments on. Oh, okay, you're coming in as a fresh graduate. Maybe we pay you lower, but then you don't have to satisfy these few points. So just go for it. Yeah.
I see. Well, that's a really interesting answer as well. So yeah, you don't really need to. You just go for it either way, whether you have the skills or not, basically. And okay, so how about Ying? How about your say on this matter as well?
Actually, for the role of business analyst, we don't have a very specific skill set. You need to master this English, something like that. So, but they need you to have some concepts. So, I don't think that they really need someone that master everything. So, for example, I'm a computer science graduate, so I have the knowledge on the IT side, but I don't have the knowledge on the banking side. But for some students from other faculties, they will have the knowledge in that particular field, but they don't have the skill in our in IT side. So we are learning from each other, and then we'll work together to build out a good system for them instead of you master everything when we applying for the job. Yeah.
That's a great answer as well, and that is a really great answer. Yeah. So I hope all the participants have taken what our fellow alumni have said into account, and I hope you guys can learn from that. But that's it. Let's move on to our next question, shall we? Now, this is an interesting question. I do believe myself. So this question is number 2. is university level really enough for a future career? Now, the reason I found this question very interesting is because you see a lot of people nowadays, they're starting to get jobs without having to attend to universities. They can they can just go to a job, get a job based on solely on their skill and not have a degree. So I was wondering, what are your says on the matter of this question? Really, let's have Ying have a go at it first.
I think university level is just like a ticket for you to enter to the industry. So it's not really enough. It's just a starting point to get you ready to step into it. But then you need to learn a lot throughout the journey. When you are at work, you gain a lot of experience, and then yeah, I think university just a starting point. So it's not enough at all.
Yeah, I do agree to that with some extent, but let's have the others to answer as well. Desmond, how about you? What do you say on this matter?
Because in university you only study 20 hours per week, so I think it's like really not enough. If it's possible, do try to look out more, look outside the university and meet people outside the university. Then you can kind of know what the market is looking for. Then you can work towards that. And I just think that university degrees may still be important because like when you want to apply for things, especially in the government, like according to government policy, they might require you to have at least a degree or something. I mean, the degree might still be important in that aspect. Or like if you want to move to another country or to apply jobs from another country or like to work remotely, the degree thing is still important. They still like ask for what is your highest education certification like. But like beside university, you should still explore more outside, like talking to people from the industry. Look outside the university.
Yeah, very much agree with that point as well. You both of you guys were on the right track where universities aren't really enough, because if we just solely depend on the universities, we're not going to get very far. So what both of you guys are saying, I very much agree on that part, because when it comes to university, they're just going to give us like the baseline and stuff like that. Yeah, for the other stuff, we're gonna have to work for ourselves even more. But let's have Sina have a go at this question as well. I'm also wanting to hear your opinion on this matter as well.
Yeah, I think definitely not enough, but necessary, especially if you want to get a visa, to go somewhere else. If you don't have a university degree, I've heard from many people that it's really difficult, sometimes even impossible for certain countries. Is it enough? I don't think the whole idea of going to university 4 years in a lifetime and then just that is enough. Even while you're a student, I think it's important to start learning other things on the side and constantly have a sense of what is the state of recruitment in the industry, what is in demand, and what is the supply like. Because once in a while, there are these new shiny careers such as data science, product management, machine learning engineer, blockchain engineer, which may not have existed or been as popular 5 years ago. So initially, for a few years, they're going to be paying very, very well because companies can't find a lot of people doing them, even for junior levels. But then after 3-4 years, now the pay becomes the normal distribution. So at each point, whether you're first year, second year, understanding what is the recruitment like in the market and trying to learn on your own to match those, that would be good.
Yeah, that is a really great answer as well. Yeah, I especially found the point where you say finding the recruitment points early on, just so you can work your way up to it. That is a very good way for us to get to basically get a job or a career or in our lifetime. Yeah, so that is a very great answer. Thank you so much, Sina, for
no worries. One fast way to learn and experiment with these is that interview for different jobs and internships once in a while. And you don't need to take it. Just interview to see what are they asking for and how far or close are you to it. And even if they offer you, you can say, actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to do it. They're not going to blacklist you or anything.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not expect that kind of answer, to be honest. But yeah, that is a very interesting way to get to it. Though I kind of feel sad about the interviewer having to waste my time, but it's all right.
They get paid for it. They get paid. You should feel sad for you. You don't get paid for doing that.
Okay, yeah, you have a point right there. All right, let's move on to our next question, shall we? So our next question we have, how are the job opportunities for AI-related jobs in Malaysia or any other countries? And also, what is the recommended path for an AI graduate? So let's have the AI students answer this first. Let's have Desmond answer this.
Okay, so I think for job opportunities in Malaysia, I think a lot of countries are investing in the Southeast Asia region at the moment, but I'm not pretty sure about Malaysia because I think investors are looking more at perhaps Singapore, Indonesia, or Vietnam. Actually, to be honest, to be very honest, investors are looking first. Usually, investors look at Singapore, and then once they have a HQ in Singapore, they'll look at Indonesia or Vietnam. Like Malaysia is perhaps it depends on the investor as well. Yeah, so but I do believe that there are very good companies, very good AI companies in Malaysia. Like we have, I mean, in Developer Kaki, you can see what are the. I think in Developer Kaki, Darren Tan has a list of the top 10 or like companies that pay more than 10K per month. Then you can look from there. Yeah. And for the recommended path for AI graduates, I think you could go for data scientists, which build models, and you could also go for, some call it the AI engineers, or some others call it the machine learning engineers, which help the data scientists to push their build models to production. So they deal more with the productionizing of AI models. Or you could actually also go for software engineering or analyst roles. It's very open actually, but the skill sets might be very different. So you must show that you are very eager to learn new skills.
I see. That's a very great answer to that as well. I did not really expect that for an AI graduate, but for all the AI students out there who are watching, I hope you take what Desmond said into account. With that said, let's also hear it from Sina. Sina, you're also a former AI student, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I did an internship in 2017 as an machine learning engineer intern at a AI startup in Malaysia. The company was building chatbots for banks. Then I did an internship as an AI product manager in 2018 at Superhands, which then became a full-time thing. I would say, to be honest, there are not. I don't know a lot of AI companies in Malaysia that has like full-time AI roles. A lot of them are like, say, 80% software engineering, 20% AI, or maybe a mix of analyst and engineering. I would say it would be good for you to take a step back from companies and jobs and think in terms of, are there specific areas in AI that you're interested in, especially if you're not taking the research path. I think if you take the research path, you may have more resources because of and other professors who are doing research. But if you want to work, think of, okay, what is the problem space that you care about? Is it driverless cars? Is it drones? Is it, in my case, like education? And see, okay, if you can't find a company, what is some side projects you can start and showcase? Because then companies in other countries could find you through those projects and give you offers. So that's a little bit of AI personal branding for AI projects.
That is a very great answer as well. I am suddenly, for some reason, I'm suddenly intrigued and pulled into the AI field. Who knows? Maybe I'll be an AI student. Maybe I'll be an AI career path one day. Who knows? I probably won't. To be honest, probably won't. Not my cup of tea. To be honest. With that said, let's move on to our next question, shall we? So our next question we have, it says how to determine career path and any suggestions during their internships. So let's have Ying have a go at this first. Ying, what about you?
For my internship, actually, I try to explore different career paths, career options in for software engineering, because I don't think that I want to code forever. And so I try to find out different things, like trying out business analyst, or I also I also consider like software tester, something like that. I think that internship is a very good chance for us to try different options before we getting into the before we graduate, because for internship you can start that 6 months. You can use that 6 months to make sure that, oh, I'm really interested in this, and then I want to continue on this. Or after 6 months you regret, and then you think that, okay, it's better I go back to code. So I changed back to software to be a developer, something like that. I think for internship, just try to explore as many different like explore the different career in the industry, and then try to pick up something that you think that you might be interested in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an amazing answer as well, and I completely agree on how you mentioned that about you having to explore regarding your internship. So yeah, guys, we don't exactly have to be limited to just our subjects, to what type of internship that we have to go for. Like how Ying did for her path, she went for a business analyst, so that is really cool as well. So that is, yeah, thank you so much, Ying, for the answer. Let's have Sina have a go at this question as well, shall we? Sina, what are your thoughts?
Totally. I think this is really hard to figure out. So it's usually best if you are looking at all of your peers and ask your seniors as well to get more advice on this, because it's really hard to do one thing and try to, from the bottom up, get a sense of the possibilities that, it's a lot of things in your unknowns. But definitely what you can learn from your internship is you can learn whether or not you like it. Like, you will know very fast if you dislike it. If you dislike it, you dislike it. For me, I did again machine learning engineering at a particular startup. I dislike it. It gave me a lot of bias as well, because I felt that, okay, I'm never going to like engineering because I really dislike this engineering experience. Later on, I realized that no, it depends on from company to company. Is it a small company, big company, Series A stage of funding versus early stage, later stage? All of these make a difference in your learning experience. I would say if you can just do more than one internship in your period of studies, like maybe do 2 or 3, like one is the formal one, which is 6 months, maybe do another 3-month internship and another 1-month internship. It's actually possible. You could reach out and do this. It will give you a better sense, and do different stuff. Do a data-related internship, do a software engineering, do a product management, and the one that you're not sure you're gonna like, make sure that's the one that you do for 1 month, just in case you really hate it.
Yeah, that's really great answer as well from you. And as you said, it is better to explore and see which one you hate and which one what type of internships you actually prefer on. So yeah, this is actually a very good answer to that question as well. With that said, Desmond, what are your thoughts on this matter as well? I would like to hear this as well.
Okay, so one of my biggest regrets is actually not having enough internships at different companies and having different roles. I hope I have perhaps a product management internship, and then perhaps a software engineering internship, and perhaps a data analyst internship, or something that are quite different, so that I know what I like, and after I graduate, I can still jump into one of these roles pretty easily. If I don't like let's say my current job, for example, I do know someone who did internship outside of the 6 months required internship period, and then he skipped a few classes for the next semester. Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool thing to do as well, because you get to try different roles and see what things you like and what things you don't, and then you can put it on your resume as well. Actually, a lot of my colleagues who studied in NUS actually has multiple internship before they graduate, and then they went to quite good companies for internship as well, and then the roles that they take up are very different, like product management, analyst, or data science, or software engineering. I think that's kind of opened you up to a lot more opportunities. Yeah, just go for a lot and different internships.
Well, that is a very great answer as well, and that your answers pretty much correlate to almost everyone as well. Like, you guys basically said that it is best for us to go out and explore as many internships as possible. As what Desmond said, you actually regretted having only How many internships do you actually go for, to be honest?
I actually have the 6 months required internship.
Ah,
So yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you actually went. I thought you
Yeah.
actually
I
went for
hope I
more.
have internships in every, perhaps maybe not every semester break, but perhaps 2 more semester breaks. Yeah, I hope I have 2 more internship experience. Yeah.
You are really hardworking. I can tell you. I can tell you that, man. You are really hardworking.
No.
Props to you, dude. Props to you. All right, let's move on to our next question, shall we? Before our time actually runs out. So the next question that we have. So getting into business slash data analytics, what set of skills would you recommend us to pick up during our university days? This is by Mahin Rajendran. So let's have Sina have a go at this first.
I think Ying and Desmond may have a better answer. For me, I feel like you should. My answer to something like this is you don't need to have any default skills. Just take an internship, learn through the job, get paid to learn.
All right, cool. Yeah, I actually just wanted an answer from someone besides the business analytics, and just to get like an external opinion. Yeah. So with that said, let's actually have the business analyst and the data scientist answer this. How about let's have Desmond have a go at this first. So shall we?
Right. I think Zing have a better answer as well, because I think there are 2 different roles actually here. Usually, data scientists are the one who builds machine learning models, and there's another role called data analysts who are the ones who look at the data and then like influence the product decision and all that. So it's kind of more business facing. So for me, I think what set of skills? I think SQL are very important for analyst roles, like advanced SQL. Yeah, because I think there are a lot of tools that let you write SQL and then they will plot very nice graph. I think SQL is very important. And then maybe perhaps some Python and R. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for your answers. Now let's have the business analyst have a go at this question, shall we? I'm pretty sure you know more in depth about this. Zing, what do you say about this matter?
Actually, sometimes people are quite confused with the title business analyst and business analytics. I guess actually the business and data analytics is not what I'm doing. So for my job, business analyst, my job is to understand how the business operates instead of like I doing some code and then analyze how it works and then how the future predict the future for the business. So my job is to understand their current operations and then find out their problems and then design a system for them. So for this one, I think that first, as what Desmond mentioned just now, you need to have a like SQL knowledge. So because when you are doing design, you need to have the concept. Else you will like segregate everything around, and then it's very terrible for the developer later. So you need to think before they can actually start doing this, and then you also don't be surprised that you will need some like designing skills for this role, because in some companies, for example, my company, we don't have a UI UX designer for everything. The business analyst will do the design for the screen. So you need to have some skills on that, and then you need to try to do it like for better user experience. So you need to have some knowledge on this, and also you need to try to have some analytic skills and try to that, because sometimes the requirements are given in a chunk. They give you a very general requirement, so you have to break down, analyze that, and then to solve to provide the solutions in the system. Yeah, for business analysts, we don't have a really important skills that we need to master or you need to very good at, but instead you need to think. It's like non-stop brainstorming for this job. Yeah, I would say that's most important for this job.
All right, thank you so much, Zing, for the answer. And yes, I hope all those who are aspiring to be a business analyst actually take into account what Zing has said there, because not only are those required required for the business analyst job, but they're also beneficial for every other job, especially, to be honest, if I'm being real honest with myself. But yeah, thank you so much, Zing, for the answer, and for the participant who asked that, Mahin Rajendran, I hope you got what you wanted from that answer. And yeah, now let's move on to our next question, shall we? So our next question we have, can I know, is there any career path that combines software skills with data skills? This is a question from Xiao He. So this kind of questions I'm going to be asking Desmond. How about let's have you have a go at this first?
Right. I think when dealing with data, usually you would have you need to have software skills, because most of the time you'll be writing codes, and you want your codes to run fast. And but if you want me to be more specific, perhaps I'll suggest perhaps AI engineer roles or machine learning engineer roles, because they are like the ones who help to make the machine learning models input and output into a backend service. So yeah, it's more engineering, but it's still dealing with data, and you need to have a good understanding of both the model itself as well as the optimization that you have to do. But to get a good role in this, usually you find companies who has a lot of data, or companies who are building machine learning models, or companies who just require some optimization in the data pipeline itself. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Desmond, for the answer. And yes, I'm suddenly like, to be honest. I mean, I'm just speechless. Honestly, I have no words for that. It's a really good answer. Pretty sure Xiao He. I hope Xiao He, you got what you wanted from Desmond. But let's also have Sina answer this question as well. He looks very eager to answer this.
Not really. I think Desmond's answer was pretty good, and yeah, I don't have anything more to add to that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I look eager all the time. It's just the form of my face.
Oh well. But how about you, Zing? Do you have any say on this matter as well?
I don't really have anything to add on this, because I'm not really dealing into this like data or software skills. So yeah, I think definitely answer is very good. That's all I think. I have nothing to say.
All right, thank you so. Wait, am I talking? All right, thank you so much for your answers, legit. Sadly, it seems that we're actually running out of time, so that will have to be the final question for today. That is a very sad thing too. Honestly, I actually want to spend more time with you guys, but yeah, I guess we can't anymore. But don't worry, we can definitely talk more after this. With that being said, with that being the final question, thus marks the end of our alumni sharing session. First of all, I would like to thank you guys so much, the panelists, for being here with us and sharing us your wise wisdoms, and also blowing our minds and opening our eyes and exposing us to a world that we're going to be going into right after this semester. Also, I would like to thank the committee for organizing this event, as this has been very beneficial, not only to the participants, but I believe also to me, as I've definitely learned a lot from the alumni. And last but definitely not least, I would like to thank you, the participants, for watching all of us and also helping making this event a very successful one at that. You guys are really the best, and I really thank you guys so much for your questions as well. They have been they have opened up my eyes as well, because I wasn't really going to ask a lot of questions. And yeah, but before you guys do leave the YouTube, we actually have a feedback form for you guys to fill out, and we're just gonna like take 5 minutes of your time. So the feedback form will be shared in the form of a QR code. So do scan that and do fill out the form, and your efforts and also your answers are very much appreciated. With that being said, it's your boy Primandas. Thank you so guys so much for coming, watching, and bye bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thanks for having
Bye
us.
bye.
Bye.
I forgot to off my mic.